and welcome to an incredible episode of Cybernet. Yes, it's the big one, the top 10 most sensational video games of the year. So join me, Steve Truitt, as we count down the best of the best in 2002. Let's get off to an out-of-this-world start with a visit to a galaxy far, far away. Star Wars games were plentiful this year, but only one deserved a place in our top 10. For GameCube owners, this was the biggest reason to get a Nintendo console. So get ready for intergalactic thrills from Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. There have been many Star Wars video games over the years, some good, some merely average. In this case, Rogue Squadron 2 is utterly impressive, delivering on the early promise of the GameCube's technical prowess. This epic action title is actually a sequel to the well-liked Rogue Squadron game for the N64 and is set in the time period of the original Star Wars trilogy. As a member of Rogue Squadron, you'll take flight as either Luke Skywalker or Wedge Antilles, participating in more than 10 missions lifted directly from the movies. Almost all of the gameplay involves space or aerial combat, which some might find somewhat limiting. Fortunately, there are several types of spacecraft to pick from to keep things interesting.
The force is true with this one.
You'll take on the enemies in dogfights and planetary missions traveling to locations such as Tatooine. As you progress, a series of new planets will become available, including some not seen in the films. From the outset, the spectacular visual effects will amaze even those who've switched over to the dark side. To attain the realistic look, the starfighters were created using textured data from high-resolution photography of the actual plastic movie models, so they look nearly as good as the computer-generated ships in the film. The GameCube controller proved to be ideal for this game. During aerial combat, you'll use every button to speed up, slow down, and perform tight turns to catch an enemy off guard. The targeting system is accurate, and with a few taps of the digital pad, you can even send wingmen to complete dangerous mission objectives. Rogue Leader Rogue Squadron 2 warps to pole position as the best Star Wars game ever. There's some serious gameplay to be had here, boasting some excellent sound effects. Yes, Jedi, the Force is strong with this one. Cruising into the number 9 spot is a game that redefined the driving genre and managed to stand out in a very crowded field. Time to put pedal to the metal for Project Gotham Racing on the Xbox. After first playing this game, our initial impression was Project Gotham could do for racing titles what Tony Hawk did for skating games. How so? By placing the emphasis on style rather than simply being the first across the finish line. So you must navigate hairpin turns through heavy traffic, while most importantly, looking good. This is trickier than it might seem, and you're awarded kudos for pulling off these dazzling stunts. The more kudos points you earn, the more you can unlock. Okay, by now we all know every new racing title has a plethora of cars to choose from. That's standard. And Project Gotham is no different, offering over 25 beautifully rendered dream vehicles. And with more than 200 circuits in New York, London, and Tokyo, amongst others, you'll never become bored seeing the same environments over and over. But what sets this title apart is the gameplay, which you'll either love or hate. For if you make just one mistake, hit a cone or a guardrail, you'll lose the points which hang in limbo after completing a slick move. And in later levels, one mistake can mean all the difference between winning and, well, not winning. With precision being the main objective, one would expect the controls of the vehicles to be spot on, and they are. Literally everything the game demands, you can accomplish. But remember, as always, practice makes perfect. We at Cybernet thought Project Gotham Racing was the smoothest and most challenging driving title of the year. It's not a pick-up-and-play racer, which may be good or bad depending on your taste, but we'll let you decide. GameCube GameCube owners desiring something a bit more menacing than Mario and Luigi had plenty of reason to leave the light on with our number 8 game of the year, Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. While the recent Resident Evil introduced GameCube owners to their first mature title, this remarkably well-crafted thriller takes the horror genre to the next level. The game centers on the Roivas family and its ties to an ancient book called the Tome of Eternal Darkness. At the outset, we're introduced to Alexandra Roivas, who is summoned back to the family estate to identify the body of her dead grandfather. This may just be another murder investigation to the detective, but to Alex, it means business.
There must be some clue in this old mansion revealing what happened. I want answers.
You begin by exploring the mansion, discovering clues about the past and gathering helpful items. For instance, a special sword might unlock a closet, while adjusting a clock will reveal a secret hallway that leads to Alex's grandfather's study and the sacred tome. When a chapter from the book is read, you're transported to a different era, stretching back over 2,000 years. However, you'll need to do some detective work because the book chapters are cleverly hidden. Each of the 12 playable characters has their own specialties and objectives, but to progress, they all need to solve puzzles and battle the undead. Fortunately, they won't be empty-handed because each will have use of various weapons authentic to their time period. There are two special elements to this game. One is the use of powerful magical spells which can be used to restore health or enhance objects. The other is the use of the sanity system, which leads to some truly mind-bending surprises. The graphics are magnificent, highlighted by deep multi-layered textures and amazing ambient lighting. Add to this a silky smooth camera system and you have the makings of a very polished title. Eternal Darkness is a triumph, seamlessly blending a deep and twisting story with creative and creepy gameplay. World War II first-person shooters seem to be all the rage this year. From Wolfenstein to Battlefield 1942, the shell casings have been dispersed heartily. But above all the others stood one title that wowed our expectations with its grim realism and captivating gameplay. Prepare to storm the beaches as we unleash Medal of Honor Allied Assault on the PC, our number 7 pick. Taking its cue from the Dirty Dozen movie, the first level starts off with a sneak attack on a German base where you must rescue a prisoner. We then move to the back of a jeep for a little demolition work with the help of a good old trusty M60 machine gun. After that, you'll steal a German uniform for a little undercover espionage that'll bring you into the belly of a German U-boat. This is intense action at its best. Covering fire! As you dive deeper, you'll practically feel the breeze of the bullets whizzing by as you and your brothers in arms take the Axis head-on in one of the most impressive experiences yet developed for a video game. There are huge levels and missions to complete, and with the expansion pack called Spearhead recently released, we expect to keep fighting the good fight for some time to come. Well done, soldier! Sneaking into the number 6 slot, it's the one and only Solid Snake, taking on the bad guys once again in Metal Gear Solid 2: Sons of Liberty for the PlayStation 2. Revolver Ocelot and his army of minions have been sighted just outside of New York City, so everyone's favorite unshaven, bandana-wearing super soldier decides to drop in to investigate. It's quickly revealed that Ocelot has returned to assemble an all-new Metal Gear weapon, leaving Solid Snake to utilize all his wits and weaponry to stop him. Hey, it's a dirty job, but at least I'm not doing it. Like the first Metal Gear title, players are able to switch camera perspectives from both third and first person, placing you directly into Snake's combat boots. Although there are action elements most of the time, stealth and sneaking about will win the day. Of course, you'll have all the usual tools and gadgets to help you, between the always reliable codec, which gives you helpful hints in completing your missions, to the M9 tranquilizer pistol, which gives your enemies a non-lethal catnap. You'll have enough equipment at hand to make even James Bond look like a farmer in a wheat field. Snake will also have a few hand-to-hand techniques at his disposal, including the ability to hide unconscious soldiers from patrolling troops. 99. Many were disgruntled to find that you don't actually control Solid Snake through most of this title. Instead, you play as a character named Raiden, and the convoluted plot could have been streamlined, but these are small complaints in a title that places skill and cunning over simple button bashing and shooting. For those who haven't experienced Metal Gear Solid 2, you're in for a treat. It clearly lives up to the hype as one of the best spy games ever. It requires some patience, but creator Hideo Kojima has produced another stellar addition in the series. And take our word for it, the stunning FMV is worth the price of admission by itself. Hey Snake, smile! You're in our top 10! Welcome back to part 2 of Cybernet. We celebrate our second half with the most masterful real-time strategy game of the year. Storming its way into the number 5 position in our 2002 countdown, it's Warcraft 3: Reign of Chaos for the PC and Mac. In 1994, the world was introduced to the RTS genre and Warcraft: Orcs and Humans. And later it was followed by the hugely successful Warcraft 2: Tides of Darkness. The series quickly became known for its innovative elements, and now this latest edition continues to impress as it leaps into the third dimension. Not only can you view the game from its original overhead perspective, but now you can adjust the camera to see another angle. As with most RTS titles, however, you must still construct buildings and accumulate resources to create military units. Like previous Warcraft editions, you have both orc and human armies at your disposal. These two races are quite similar to their previous incarnations, with the exception of the orcs, who now join up with some minotaur-like creatures called the Tauren. And of course, you and your friends all over the world can have plenty of entertainment listening to those crazy orcs babble while playing online.
No time for play. Me not that kind of orc.
For those of you who enjoy a good adventure, expect a massive challenge as you make your way through the single-player campaign. The only downside here is that the custom sections are excruciatingly difficult, and there's no means of adjusting to an easier setting. And by the way, where are the boats? Unfortunately, with the jump to the third dimension, the seafaring technology of Warcraft 2 was sacrificed. We'll forgive them this time. After all, there's always expansion packs, right? Besides, the flashy graphics and amazing FMV more than make up for this fault. In closing, all we ask of Warcraft 3's developers is please don't make us wait another 7 years for Warcraft 4. Open your eyes, and all will be revealed as we cheer on Cybernet's number 4 game of the year. Over 35 million copies of this series have been sold worldwide, and now it appears for the first time ever on the PlayStation 2. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to dive into the wondrous world of Final Fantasy X. From the outset, the Final Fantasy series has set the standard for role-playing games, and this edition is no exception, highlighted by astonishing visual effects. More importantly, there are several refreshing updates. For instance, the characters can now talk.
Being a guardian's tiring.
You handle yourself pretty well. You got talent.
Like the previous titles in the series, Final Fantasy X is a heroic quest where you battle your way past all manner of monsters and demons. After each level is completed, an FMV sequence reveals another part of the story, enabling you to continue your journey. The primary plot this time deals with Titus, a shaggy-haired sports celebrity who is hurled 1,000 years into the future. There he joins Yuna, a powerful young summoner who hopes to rid the world of Sin, a mysterious entity that leaves nothing but death and destruction in its wake. Probably the biggest change here involves the battle sequences. The active time battles have been abandoned in favor of a more interactive turn-based engine where selecting the right people for the right situations is the key to success. The map system has also been altered. No longer will you roam aimlessly in a vast environment trying to figure out where to go next. Instead, the game now puts you in a somewhat linear path which allows you to spend more time immersed directly in the story. Critics may dismiss Final Fantasy X as just another in a long line of swords and sorcery RPGs, but doing so would be short-sighted. A beautiful blend between compelling gameplay and a thoughtful, intelligent story makes this one of the best games of the year. The ancient art of fighting video games says every console must have one. So for Xbox owners, here comes the latest installment of the DOA franchise. Fighting its way up to number 3 is Dead or Alive 3. Once again, the world's greatest fighters have gathered from all over the world to battle it out at the DOA tournament. But with similar competitions going on in games like Mortal Kombat, Virtua Fighter, and Super Smash Bros., is there any point in showing up for yet another slugfest? Already having gained notoriety for its well-rendered female characters, this DOA title surprised the industry by displaying some amazing graphics and innovative fighting features. The rich textures and colors give the game a look and feel that will please most anime fans, while the recreation of 15 different fighting styles, including Nujitsu, Pro Wrestling, and Jeet Kune Do, are sure to delight hand-to-hand combat enthusiasts. Another feature that sets this series apart from the others is the interactive environments, which allow you to use your surroundings as a weapon. One well-placed kick and your opponent takes a nasty fall. One express elevator to pain, going down. You can be sure that falls like this won't bode well for the old health meter. While you'll hardly break a sweat in the game's story mode, Dead or Alive 3 is packed with enough features to keep things interesting long after completion. Besides the usual competition mode allowing you to take on a friend, there's Tag Team, which allows for some 2-on-2 action, time mode to test your speed, and a survival mode, pitting you against a constant onslaught of challengers. Dead or Alive 3 is everything a fighting game should be, and at the same time serves as a bold example of the Xbox's graphical power. The characters' diverse styles are fun to master, and the environments shatter the current competition. Recent releases like Virtua Fighter 4 and Tekken 4 were okay, but they still don't match up when compared to DOA 3. How long will this title reign supreme as current champ? Only time and hours of physical violence will tell. Our number 2 pick elicited one of the biggest responses of any game in history and became the year's top-selling game. It broke all the rules, creating a virtual wonderland filled with opportunity for mayhem. Yes, it's the outrageous Grand Theft Auto 3 for the PlayStation 2. The story is simple enough. You're an escaped fugitive on the lam who's struggling to make a dishonest buck just to get by. And in this city, cash comes easy to those who will do anything to get it, such as stealing a car or completing assignments from local gangsters. However, it's the free-to-roam-anywhere feeling of this game that really catches your attention. If you'd like, you can even perform dozens of extreme stunts to earn an insane stunt bonus. But watch your step. Every action you make dictates how the other characters in the game treat you. Take a car without asking, and the cops will be on your tail. The game contains some violence and strong language. However, it's the innovative features that makes this a must-play for thrill-seeking gamers. GTA 3 was such a success, the developers at Rockstar quickly issued a sequel that's also gone right to the top of the charts. Our number 2 selection continues with Grand Theft Auto Vice City for the PlayStation 2. While the setting shifts this time to colorful Miami in the 1980s, it's once again the huge assortment of vehicles that take center stage. Motorcycles, motorboats, and tanks are all at your command. The stellar interactivity is also once again on full display, giving you the ability to roam freely and take anything you want, anytime and anywhere. So if you've ever been tempted to hijack a helicopter, this is your chance. In the game, you'll control aspiring gangster Tommy Vercetti, who after refusing to testify against his mob bosses, is awarded a piece of the action. But when a deal goes sour, Tommy must use Vice City's resources to take down those who've wronged him. After just a few minutes, you can tell the developers pulled out all the stops to make this follow-up even bigger and more polished than its predecessor. With Vice City, Rockstar has raised the series to the next level, fulfilling all expectations. No other game this year captured players' attention like the Grand Theft Auto titles. 2 releases that will influence other games for years to come. There were dozens of amazing games released this past year, but one title ruled them all with an awesome mix of sci-fi elements, over-the-top action, and ultra-smooth gameplay. Even before its release, there was a huge amount of positive buzz surrounding the one and only Halo Combat Evolved.
Halo is clearly one of the most anticipated games in the history of gaming.
And once played, you'll see it definitely lives up to the billing. In the game, you control a genetically enhanced cyborg bred to defend Earth from the alien race known as the Covenant. The battleground is the mysterious planet Halo, where the Covenant is trying to acquire a mysterious weapon. The mission? Stop them by using any weapon or vehicle at your disposal. But not all is what it seems on Planet Halo. There are a few surprises along the way. We asked one of the game's developers to give us a hint as to what might be in store for us.
Halo has a very deep twist in it, through the storyline that you'll discover. It's not what you think it is.
The history of the game's development is actually almost as interesting as the game's story. Originally designed for the PC by the company Bungie, which produced such classics as Myth and Marathon, Halo quickly took a console detour when Microsoft got an early look at the game. As a matter of fact, they were so impressed, they bought the company. But a lot of gamers had questions about the multiplayer aspect. Since Nintendo's GoldenEye, it's an almost expected feature in console first-person shooters. So how does Halo measure up?
We have 13 different levels, different maps for multiplayer, ranging from Capture the Flag to what we call Slayer, Deathmatch, and what we call variants. There's 5 different game variants, and you can configure